Welcome back to Monday's edition of the Steve Malzberg Show, everybody. I'm Ed Berliner, who can barely get out Steve's name, it seems, after a certain time, although I've known the guy 30 years. This is Diane Diamond. We're sitting in. Steve's taking the day off today and tomorrow, and again, a very happy Passover to our viewers. Getting back a little bit to what we have discussed here in this hour, I have to disagree with what Pete Hoekstra said about the Republicans and the racist comments. They are going to happen. The media is going to cover them. The stories are constantly going to be out there. I truly believe that the Republicans need to take this head on. Deal with it. Show people that you understand it. You're not afraid of it. Don't back away from it. I would say this about anybody of any political stripe. If you have something that's being thrown at you that is an attack and you feel it is unworthy, it is unjust, get into it. Dig into it. That's what I want from my elected officials, that willingness to fight for themselves and to make sure that the real message gets out there. I think that's important.
Yeah, because if you ignore it, what happens? You give the impression that there is a modicum of truth to it. So I'm with you. I have to disagree with the congressman on this. Don't let it slide. Get it head on. And you know what? That's a bigger message, I think, Ed, for the entire Republican Party. I sit back, and again, I'm a registered independent, okay? I always have been because I used to be a reporter on Capitol Hill in the White House, and I thought that was important to remain objective. But I see what is happening to the GOP, and it's like they're eating their young. It's like they have no plan for the future, no strategy for the midterm elections, and certainly no discernible strategy for the presidential election coming up.
Well, we're getting back to strategy again, and this comes down to what so many people have understood, and certainly I do, you do, because we've both been in the media and we know what happens here.
Right.
The Obama administration and the Obama machine early on, when they were elected, what did they do? They worked the young voter. They worked social media. They worked the media to their advantage. It's an unfortunate thing, but you have to do that in today's society. You have to get out there. You have to work that media. I don't see, at this time, at least a lot, the Republicans out there working the youth vote, working the younger vote, which they really seriously need to go after.
And the female vote and the Hispanic vote and the black vote. It's like they are being criticized for being the party of the old white men. And you know what? They're acting like the party of the old white men. They've got to get out there and appeal to these groups. Otherwise, there's no place else for them to go but Democratic.
A lot of this comes down to, and I heard this because being here in New York has afforded me back home in New York, which I haven't been in a lot of years, gave me a chance to talk with a lot of my old friends, a lot of my colleagues, and basically get an idea from them as to what their thinking is on a lot of this. And they really all said to me the same thing. Whether it's Republican or Democrat, they are sick. And these are voters. These are not people in the media. These are people of both Democratic and Republican stripe who said, honestly, Ed, we're sick and tired of hearing everybody talk about what they did, why they did it, hammering away. What they really want to hear is, what are you going to do for me?
Bingo.
Where is the country going? If you're an individual, you're running for an office, what they really want to hear is, where are you taking us? What are your plans? What are your ideas? Don't give us estimates. Don't give us things that are written down in chicken scratch. Give us actual, real ideas that can honestly make it, and stop throwing blame. I just don't know if we're there yet. I don't know if we're able to do this yet.
We're into bicker mode. We are into uber always bicker mode. And I got a survey from the Republican Party in my mailbox, and it said, as a Republican activist, we want to know your answers to these questions. And I thought to myself, first of all, you got really bad intelligence, because I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Republican activist. But I took the time to fill this thing out and tell them I want them to stop bickering and I want them to give me solutions. You think anybody will read that thing when they open it up?
But you realize, of course, you're talking to a stacked deck in Washington, D.C., because everybody bickers, and bickering is actually a sport in Washington, D.C.
And it's their livelihood.
Well, the basketball team's not doing well. The Nationals aren't doing well. The hockey team's not in the playoffs. The Redskins haven't started playing yet, so we have to have some kind of a game, and that's what the game is here. Well, the game will continue, and we will continue as well, because coming up in the next couple of hours, Bill Donahue joins us from the Catholic League. Peter Hoekstra will be back as well. Wayne Besson will talk a little bit about what went on at UMass with an NCAA Division I college basketball player. It's all coming up in the following hours. Sitting in for Steve Malzberg, I'm Ed Berliner. That's Diane Diamond. Thank you so much for joining us, because the Newsmax way continues right here.
We don't just talk about the news, we talk to those making news. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.